Chattisfying.
Yo! Hello, mother funsters, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 5 of Chattisfying, the podcast. My name is Mellar, and we are, of course, joined today by co-host Angry Angel.
Hello.
Hi, Angry Angel.
Hello.
So we've got lots on the menu for today, including pizza. More on that later. But first, our sort of main topic for today. It's got a very punchy title that Angry Angel dreamt up. The punchy title is Stream Harmony, Find Your Tribe. And what it basically means is how to meet people, make connections, foster a good community of supportive people, pretty much specifically on Twitch, although it could apply to other social medias and other streaming platforms. So, I mean, I have to admit, I haven't really, I haven't thought a huge amount about this, maybe as much as I should, but what are your thoughts on this? And we'll see if I can expand.
So, for me, I don't really have any in-person friends. And so, for me, being online on Twitch was all about making connections. And so when I first started streaming last year, I would follow people. So I'd watch someone for a little while. If they had a good vibe or I enjoyed watching them, I'd follow them. I'd interact in chat and that kind of stuff. But eventually that kind of I just kind of felt like a voice in a crowd sometimes, especially with larger streamers. And so I did a little bit of research and discovered Discord. And Discord really offered me the chance to share more about myself with others and interact in that way. So it was more of like a 50-50 kind of interaction as opposed to, like an 80-20. It's all about the streamer and you're just in the chat, which isn't bad. That's just how it is. And then I used to be on Twitter and things like that. But again, those sorts of things just feel like shouting into a crowd for me without a significant following. Without a significant following pre-2015, growing a community on those like Instagram or Twitter or God help you, Facebook, without a following before they kind of blew up, you're just shouting into the void. It's and you're going to interact with more people more thoughtfully and thoroughly on Discord than you ever will on any of the other social platforms. And you can choose who sees what, and you can come and go as you please. And it's just, there's a lot of flexibility there. So I think if I were to share how to find your match, it would be interact with streamers that share your vibe on Twitch, be in their chats as often as you can, and interact on Discord.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I think the thing that I've always kind of said when we have kind of talked about this kind of thing on sort of Chattisfying and Bitrated before is if you sort of set out to network, you've kind of lost already. You're fighting a losing battle because people don't want to network. Like the people that you want to speak to don't want to network. What they want to do is make friends. Some people are great at networking, and yeah, fine, that's great. But a lot of people aren't. I mean, I'm shit at it. If I'm honest with you, I've never been good at it, but I'm all right at making friends. And at the end of the day, it's kind of the same thing. So, that's kind of the way that I've always kind of seen it. And Twitch is a great place to make friends. Discord is a great place to stay in touch with friends that you already have. So, yeah, that it pretty much echoing what you're saying. Like, the way that I kind of see it, because to sort of expand on that, like I feel like if you're in it to network, then you're in it to you're in it to grow and make money. And I feel quite a lot of the time people catch on to that, and they sort of see, oh, that person just wants me, like, wants to use me, and they're just like, oh no, never mind. So if you just sort of look on it from a making friends perspective, I think people are a lot more sort of receptive to it, because at the end of the day, people want to make friends on a platform like this. That's kind of why I would imagine most people are here, even if like that's not sort of consciously what the plan is. People want two things obviously from Twitch, from watching Twitch: to be entertained and to make friends. So if you can do both of those things, I feel like you're winning. I feel like that's kind of the thing. And like you say, you sort of you find the people that vibe with you, don't you? You look for those people. So if you're watching someone, you can obviously tell quite easily whether they share your vibe. When you're live, it's a lot harder to tell if someone in your chat shares your vibe or not. But then that's where places like Discord and that come in, because you can tell a lot more, can't you?
Well, I think so. Something that I have had to really balance is I want to make friends, but I also kind of want to make money. So I have to find a way so that people understand that I'm not out for their money. But if it's offered, it's appreciated. Do you know what I mean? I use a saying where it's never expected, always appreciated, because this half of the Chattisfying screen is kind of, I do have goals not to be a full-time streamer, but to have it be like a portion of my income. Like that's where I want it to go. Like at some point, I don't want to teach anymore, and I want to be at home sort of cobbling together incomes from different sources. So I never go about it from a money perspective, but at the same time, there's this awkward sort of part of me, and that any streamer who does approach this as a possible part or full-time job, I think you have to find a way to not be a money grubber. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it's important to think about how that affects your community. And I think if you're out there being friendly, being wholesome, being true to yourself, and we've talked about all these things before, it will happen. Like it's you, if you're out there like fishing for subs, you're networking, you're not making friends. Like you're not. So I just think that there are some streamers that do have that goal, and I think there's a place in the middle where you can make friends, but you can also like build your brand.
Yeah.
And so it just depends on what your goals are, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't have that goal myself. Like, always obviously appreciate when it comes in, and I kind of like I'll always do my best to sort of reroute any money that I do get from streaming back into streaming as much as I can, because it just makes sense to me. Because then, apart from anything else, it makes it so that streaming isn't too expensive for me. Because it can be quite an expensive hobby, because it includes a lot of very expensive gear. You know, it can do.
Well, and here in the States, we get taxed on it. And so if you can reinvest it into your stream, especially when you're growing and you're not getting a lot of money, like payouts, then it's all a wash. So you're not having, like, if your expenses are greater than your revenue, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So
right.
That's so yeah, I agree with you. I think reinvesting it is a good idea, but back to the idea of, building your community, I think there's going to be people who are your friends, and you talk and you share some elements of your personal life with those people, and then there's going to be people who found you and you are their entertainment, but not necessarily their friend. And then sometimes those two circles overlap into a lovely Twitch Venn diagram.
Like a happy Venn diagram. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I would never expect my friends to spend money on me. That's the friend relationship. But some people show up to my stream to watch me as entertainment. And for those people, I would say, hi. Hello.
That does kind of go into, it's a bit of a counterpoint to something that Manager just said, is that wouldn't having more friends automatically convert to more money? Not really. I wouldn't really expect my friends to support me financially. I mean, apart from anything else, that'd be a really awkward conversation. But No, that's not really what friends are for me.
Well, and I think the rule that I have for myself that I've mentioned before is that if I'm watching someone on a regular basis
Mm,
that is also my friend, I'm probably going to subscribe to them because they're both my friend and a regular source of entertainment. Like I would pay for Netflix or a cable subscription or Hulu or whatever.
mm,
Um, if you're a friend that I catch like once or twice a month online, I'm stopping in to say hi, how you doing, support the stream. But like if I'm watching you 2 or 3 times a week for hours, I personally feel that's my response, and this is my rule for myself. This is not a Chattisfying. The opinions of Angry Angel may not represent the opinions of Chattisfying the podcast. But for my own self, it's if I watch you multiple times a week for multiple hours, I owe it to you as the provider of entertainment to subscribe to you as long as I'm doing that.
mm,
I feel that as my own sort of rule.
mm,
So for a lot of you guys, I sit in that overlap of the Venn diagram where we are friends and I give you money.
mm.
You know what I mean? Like if I came to your birthday party, I would bring a gift. You wouldn't expect the gift, but I would bring it because you're my friend and I care about you, you know?
Yeah, yeah. What Bats just said, some people like me want to support but don't. I think all of the people that I've ever enjoyed hanging out with on Twitch would be like, it doesn't matter. Don't worry, just hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that's the it's never expected, always appreciated. Like the idea is you do what you can. You do your best. Like you're 16 years old, Bats. You don't have disposable income. I am 41 years old and I've been doing what I've been doing for 20 years. I have a little bit of disposable income that I can throw a couple of fivers out into the Twitch universe for a couple of, do you know what I mean? Like you gotta you can't set your standards based on other people. You can only know your own situation. Like you just got to know yourself and don't overextend yourself. And if you know your community and you know who your friends are, you know what's up with them because you're friends with them. Like you know what they're facing, you know what they're working on, you know what's going on in their lives. And so you know who's there and who's not and why, and because they're friends, you don't care. It's not, and that's part of building that community, which is, look, we're gonna do for each other when we can, and when we can't, who cares? Because we're friends.
It's slightly off topic, but I have to share because I constantly get told off almost every month by my wife for spending too much money on Twitch. She's like, "You're subscribing to too many people." I'm like, "It's fine, I get it back."
Yeah. Yeah, because eventually, like over the summer, I'll probably subscribe to a bunch of people because I'm going to be watching Twitch more than I do during the school year, because during the school year, I'm either on mute or I have you tabbed. So the support during the school year is the viewer. Like I'm a viewer in your chat, boosting your numbers that way. Yes. So Rar, I am a huge, if you have like $9.99 a month that you want to put towards Twitch and you can't afford to subscribe to everyone you love, Twitch, I am a Twitch Turbo subscriber. I subscribe to Twitch Turbo because I can only afford to subscribe to a couple of people per month. So when those people run ads, I'm not using an ad blocker, but Twitch senses that I'm in that chat. And so instead of you completely missing out on the ad revenue because I'm using an ad blocker, you get a portion of that ad revenue because Twitch Turbo, that's what it's for. It's so that I can watch ad free, but every streamer I'm in gets that ad revenue. So if I've got Mellar and Sir Magic Penguin and Manus and who else have I been watching lately? Moonlit Shadows. If I've got all y'all tabbed and you run an ad, all of you are getting money off of me. So yeah, if you've got that much to spend, it's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's still going someplace.
Yeah, absolutely. And sort of to expand on the whole sort of making friends There you go. Making friends that support you. Support isn't just financial. I mean, the best way to support most streamers, including definitely myself, is just to talk, like just chat,
Yep.
have a chat. Like
In the chat. Yep.
that's how I get my my kind of energy when I'm streaming is from chat, is from the conversation. Um, it like if it wasn't for the chat, I wouldn't stream. Honestly, like if it was literally just me playing a video game for 6 hours, I would just play a video game for 6 hours. I wouldn't be on stream. Like it's all about the conversation. And we've had some very interesting conversations, some deep conversations, some ridiculous conversations, some lewd conversations. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's all about for me. It's all about the conversation.
I'm familiar with the lewd conversations. Those are the ones I'm usually at fault for most of those. Or Monica. Monica starts them. I finish them at Saturdays at Nando's.
You finish Monica, yeah, on Saturday at Nando's.
That's my job. I'm very good at it.
Oh my. Exactly.
So I think it's like having a friend group in person, I would imagine. I always feel stupid. Please don't feel bad for me that I don't have friends in person. It's a byproduct of everything that's happened with
moving around a lot. I would imagine doesn't help.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving, and it's already difficult enough to make friends in person as an adult. So please, no feeling bad. I'm very happy. I live a lovely life.
So in a way, then, if we were to be just a tiny bit twee about it, you could say that one way that people support you is by allowing you to support them.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a cute way of looking at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you have to be open, because a lot of streamers are like, oh my God, stop, subscribe. Like you get a hype train. Oh, cut it out. Stop it. I think something we can all be better at is saying thank you. Like, don't tell me to stop giving you money. Say thank you. It's never expected, always appreciated. Thank you. Because you have to be open to that support. But saying stop is funny. Yes, for some people saying stop is, for other people it's you can tell that they're very uncomfortable receiving that attention. And I think it's okay. That's part of what happens on Twitch. If you're affiliated and you're on Twitch, you're going to get money once in a while. So you got to kind of think about, how do I say thank you?
Yes, absolutely.
To my community.
Yeah.
But I think for streamers, I think the two best ways to build your community and meet friends and create that group is Twitch and Discord. That partnership is the best thing I've found, is those two things. As long as you're putting those two things together and communicating and participating, you're always going to find at least one other person who's going to put a little heart on that dog photo that you post, or respond to a vent that everything's going to be okay. Let us know if you need anything. And a lot of that just means the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think we've kind of we've talked about this a little bit before, but obviously talking about Discord as a sort of a fledgling streamer or whatever, a lot of people think that, I have to have a Discord. I have to have it. I should set that up before I even start streaming. You really don't need to do that, honestly. Like, forget about Discord. Like, get your own Discord server, hang out in other people's servers, stream for a bit, and then only start a server when you feel like you're getting a community together, like of your own communities together, rather than just because there's so many Discord servers out there already. Like, you're gonna struggle to get people on there at the best of times. I think it's just such a waste of time for people setting them up early doors, when you could put a little bit of that time into maybe just making sure that your stream is ready and good to go, and then just worry about it later. Especially when, at least in my opinion, I think quite a lot of the fun of streaming is the iterative improvements. And of course, creating a Discord server can be one of those iterative improvements, but it's not an iterative improvement if you start with it. Also, at the beginning, if you do start one before you even start streaming, it's going to be very quiet. And having a quiet Discord server, like having a quiet stream, can be kind of depressing. You're better off just not making one until it's time.
Something I've encountered that I've always thought about doing is that I found that people who have a lot of shared viewers and followers sometimes create a combined Discord server with set permissions. So like if you show up to that Discord server and you're just there for this one streamer, you would hit I want to see updates for that streamer, and then their channels show up.
I've never seen that before. That's really interesting. That's a very cool idea.
It's really cool because when you share a lot of viewers, then you've got like one Discord for like 4 people, and you get all the updates there, and the people share the maintenance of that one Discord channel. And I don't know, I was in there and it was really lovely. It was like I got everything all like a one-stop shop. So that's something I've always thought about doing, is reaching out to people that I know I share a lot of followers with to say, do you want to just, like, all of our Discords seem to have the same people. Do you want to just make like a community Discord? And I'll manage my channels of it. You manage your channels of it, but our followers can see all the channels in one place.
That's interesting. That's an interesting compromise for sort of, like I say, fledgling streamers. I think that's a nice sort of compromise, because I do think that I keep saying it because I really feel it. I think that too many people put too much stock in having their own Discord server, and a lot of the time it's really not necessary.
I wish that the groups, or whatever Twitch calls them, wasn't just for partners. I wish that there was a way to name like a streaming community and have everybody have that name to it. Because I think that's what I'm kind of talking about with the Discord servers, is that, you know, if it helps the fledgling streamers, but also established streamers, it helps like put everything in one place. Yeah, and my Discord server is mostly just a place for people to gather. My Discord server isn't for growth, Manus. I think you're right. And not everybody wants to be in a Discord. I think Green Tech is right. I think some people just want to show up on Twitch and chat and leave, but other people that want to be friends or share information or get alerts, the Discord, being in a Discord server is very helpful, because I don't know about you guys, but Twitch does not send me the notifications that I want.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then obviously you get the notifications on Discord instead, which is very, very useful. I definitely I find that myself. I mean, to sort of slightly counterpoint what I was just saying, I do think that one of the reasons why it is good to have a Discord server is it definitely reinforces a sense of community, because the problem with streaming obviously is that the community only really exists on Twitch while you're live. So as soon as you hit that end stream button, it's almost like that universe, that bubble is gone. So therefore, obviously, the thing with Discord is it's always there. So if a lot of those people that would hang out in that stream can also hang out in Discord, then it doesn't necessarily matter whether you're live or not. Those people can still hang out, and the streamer doesn't need to be there as well. Like, people can interact with each other. So it definitely helps with a sense of community. It just helps to have a bit of one before you start. But also, yeah, what Green said is Green specifically says, I'm if I want to be on Twitch, I'm on Twitch. I don't really want to hang out with people offline, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, people still appreciate you being there and will appreciate the chat that you have with them, or the lurk that you leave. But also, I think that quite often, like, it is nice to have a community for people that want to hang out. And I've seen loads of as pretty much all of you out there are probably I'm in more Discord servers than I probably would like to be, and I see lots of really interesting conversations happening on Discord that wouldn't happen on a stream, because it's just a different vibe, isn't it? Like, you're in a different sort of location, although it's not really location. It's just, but it's like talking in a different place. Like the conversation
Yeah,
you might have with your mates in a
it's
pub
like I was
would be
yeah, it's like
different.
I was saying,
Yeah,
like on Discord it's more like a equal ground
yeah,
with the streamer, if the streamer is even there. Whereas with Twitch, the streamer has like 80% of the attention, and then the chat kind of plays off the streamer.
mm,
So I do like that the Discord is where a discussion can then go, where people can actually like talk to each other about stuff.
mm,
And like you said, the streamer doesn't even have to be there. And I've seen very active small streamer Discords and very dead big streamer Discords. So something that I've always been interested in is what makes an active Discord active? What about that gets people coming in every day and talking to each other and engaging? That's a question I've been asking over the last couple of months, because I'd like my own Discord to be more engaging. I want people to come in and have fun and know that it's a place where we can all just be together. But it's interesting. I haven't quite cracked the code on what gets people coming to your Discord.
mm.
I know I've got all my friends in there, but like some days it's active and some days it's dead. But I've been in Discords where it's active every single day. People do not shut up. It's every conversation, every channel. There's pictures everywhere. There's like what about that streamer or that community makes it that vibrant? And I'm just so interested in what makes that tick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that if you're out here looking to make connections and make friends, there's enough of us out there that are also doing that. If that's what you want to do. So in the spirit of February being the month of love, if you're out there looking for a true video game connection, just reach out.
You're such a
here
dork.
for you.
Dork Army represent. But no, seriously, I've met so many amazing people already on Twitch, and I've made some amazing friends that I hope to keep for a very long time. So I feel like it's working.
Hot topic.
All right, so segment 2 today, we'll talk about hot topic. We've got a few little bits, just little bits and pieces for the hot topic today. But the biggest of the little bits and pieces is a PlayStation State of Play. So I believe you've got some things to deliver on this.
Yeah, so it's for some, like I did not realize that all of the console centers did so many of these per year. I was used to them happening like once a year, but apparently they're coming out multiple times a year now.
Yeah.
And so PlayStation's has already come out. Xbox, and I'm not an Xbox person, but we will provide the link to the Xbox information. But and Nintendo's is happening tomorrow, I think.
So the direct that's happening tomorrow isn't a full Nintendo Direct. It's a partner Direct. So it's like they're third parties. They're almost definitely, they're not going to be announcing anything big. It's just going to be games, basically, all the third party games.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, I don't normally pay a huge amount of attention to Direct anyway. But if I'm honest with you, tomorrow's Nintendo Direct is probably going to be pretty boring.
Well, I think something that I think the CEO of Nintendo alluded to is that they're sticking with the Switch.
Right.
I've been hearing murmurings, and I've read a couple of articles that because everyone's looking for, are they going to announce a new console? And I just don't think they are. I think what they have works, and I think they're going to stick with it for a little while.
The rumor that I've heard, obviously it's just a rumor, I don't know how true it is, but it does make a certain amount of sense, was that they were thinking to announce new hardware at the moment, and then delayed. I think due to something that happened in the market just now. I think maybe something that maybe happened in one of the other directs, but they've decided to delay. But I think a lot of people are thinking that there might be new hardware on the horizon, maybe in the first half of the next year.
Yeah, but not this year.
No. The Switch is way outdated, to be fair. I mean, it's time for some level of upgrade. I mean, the Switch came out in, what, 2017? That is 7 years ago. For a piece of hardware, that is like get your monocle and your stick out, mate. You're hobbling down to the co-op. That is old.
Well, they tend to go this long between consoles. I mean, I think the original Wii came out. I bought that.
Nintendo do.
When I was-
The other two not so much. Although as time goes by, each generation does seem to get further and further apart, which is fine.
Yeah, because there were 6 years, so that had to have been like 2013 to 2015 ish.
Mm.
And then they came up with the Switch in 2017. So there's been like 5 to 6 to 7-ish years in between their last 3 or 4 consoles. So this is kind of on point for them. I mean, the delay makes it a little longer than historically, but still kind of in the margin of error, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. If I had to guess, because the other part of the rumor is apparently one of the reasons why they might delay is because they say they haven't got enough launch titles. I wonder if maybe they might wait for a specific one. I mean, maybe they're waiting for a Mario game. That would make sense. They normally bring out a mainline Mario game, don't they? With
they're coming out with so many though. Like they just came out with Super Mario Wonder. They're coming out with that Peach game.
These aren't mainline Mario games though.
You wouldn't consider Wonder a mainline Mario game?
Nope.
That feels like a Mario game to me.
I mean, it's a good Mario game, but I don't think that they consider it a mainline. What do you guys think in chat? Do you think that Wonder's a mainline Mario game? Isn't
Paper Mario coming out too? Like they're releasing all their Mario titles this year.
Paper Mario is a remake.
Well, I know, but they're doing all like PlayStation and Xbox are doing a lot of remastering and remaking too of older titles to keep up with the more current hardware. But what I'm wondering is if your hypothesis is that it's coming out with a bigger major game release, I would say it would have to be. I don't know if it would be Mario.
It's only going to be Mario because it's only going to be Mario or Zelda, and they've just brought out a Zelda. So I'd say it has. In my opinion, I think because it hasn't.
It could be Smash or Mario Kart, though.
It could be.
We are due for a new Donkey Kong game. The last Donkey Kong game came out. Tropical Freeze, I think, was for the Wii U, and then they remastered it for the Switch. We haven't had a new Donkey Kong game. Manus, do not walk into this chat and give me hope. Don't you dare do that.
I thought I saw a thing about Metroid Prime 4 recently.
No.
Was that a fake?
No, you haven't seen anything. They remastered Metroid Prime Echo, the first one.
Right.
But on the controller, it plays exactly the same as it played on the GameCube. Like it's a first person shooter, but you can't really move it. Like when you lock onto something, you're locked on. Like there's no aiming or anything. And so what all of us Metroid fans are waiting on is the 4th installment in the Metroid Prime series, and it's not coming, guys. It's not coming. We're gonna hold our hope forever, but if that actually, Mellar, if I had to pick one thing, that would be it. If they're gonna launch the Switch, it's not gonna be after this barrage of Mario titles. It's gonna be something like a Metroid Prime 4, or like an update to Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, because they've been riding Mario Kart 8 since the Wii U also. That didn't come out for Switch. That just got updated for Switch. So yeah, maybe Manus, maybe all of our hoping and praying might finally come to fruition. But I'm not holding my breath for it.
Yeah. If you saw anything about Prime 4, it was unofficial. I thought I saw something. I mean, I've only played Metroid Prime Corruption, which is the 3rd one, but I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a great game overall. I wouldn't mind seeing a Metroid Prime 4, but there we go. But yeah, I mean,
they did just release that Metroid game that was more like an old-timey platformer. So maybe that's not it either, because that just came out last year, I think.
Oh, the mostly 2D one, that was more than a year ago.
Yeah.
Was it called Dread?
And all the
that
Prime
looked really
fans
good.
went, "Oh my god, why did you make this? None of us want this.
I don't know.
Want..."
I've only heard good things from people that have played it though.
Well, yeah, because it's good, but it's not what we wanted. It's that meme where it's like, "This is great, but I like this." Like we're gonna play the Metroid thing, and it's probably perfectly fine, but we want this.
Yeah. I was just laughing at what Bat said. They're going to pull a Microsoft and go straight to Mario Kart 10. That's genius.
It's not unlucky. What we wanted or what you wanted. Well, you're the one in here talking about Metroid Prime 4.
But I mean, I feel like we've kind of we've skipped ahead because we were going to talk about the PlayStation State of Play, and so far that's the one that we really haven't spoken about. So, I mean, is there anything in the State of Play that you were excited for at all, or?
So everyone's really excited about the Sonic the Hedgehog stuff. I think they're calling it Shadow Generations. Classic and modern Sonic to reunite in a remastered collection of iconic 2D and 3D Sonic levels. That stupid Foam Stars game that's Fortnite with foam.
Okay, so like Fortnite meets Splatoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has its first season coming out. It was a free month. I think it's the free monthly game this month. So if you have a PlayStation, you can get Foam Stars for free. I think it's going to follow the Fortnite model, where you can pay for additional things if you want.
Okay.
What else? Oh god, and I'm pretty sure everybody's really excited for Dragon's Dogma 2. It's not my kind of game, but that's another big. And Rise of Ronin. So Rise of Ronin released gameplay trailers, and they showed off how the combat works, how the travel works, and like the player choices that you'll have.
I don't know anything about that game, but just from the name, I'm imagining something like Sekiro or Ghost of Tsushima or something like that.
Yeah, it's an older title, but this is a new installment, I think. I don't think it's a remaster. They revealed it at the Game Awards. So when we watched the Game Awards, they did show an initial trailer, like a not a launch trailer, but a reveal trailer for it.
Yeah.
And so they just released a gameplay trailer, which is nice. I know a lot of people are excited for that as well. But yeah, it's PlayStation right now is doing a lot of remasters. I saw that they're remastering The Last of Us Part 2.
Wait, didn't that only come out like 2 years ago?
Well, yeah, but that was when hardly anybody had PlayStation 5s. And now they're available everywhere. So now people don't want to play their Last of Us Part 2 PlayStation 4 purchase. They're remastering it so it'll be better on the PlayStation 5.
It came out 3.5 years ago, in June 2020. It seems I don't know. I've never heard of a game getting a remaster so soon after coming out. That seems crazy to me.
Well, it wasn't meant for the PS5. In 2020, I think. When was the PS5? It was released in 2020, wasn't it?
November 2020.
Yeah, so that game came out specifically for the PlayStation 4.
Right.
So they remastered the first one first. So like I have the remastered version of The Last of Us Part 1 for the PlayStation 5. And so now they like I said, what all the companies seem to be doing right now is getting all of their games to go on the most recent console. Because even in
could Nintendo do that a bit more? I'm kidding. It's fine.
Well, it's just wait. Do what? What?
Could Nintendo do that just a little bit more? Because I feel like they don't do that enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've emulated a lot of their older games, and I think that's their answer. I think
emulation and remaster is not the same thing, though.
I know it's not the same thing, but I think that's their solution that they're choosing.
Well, it's a shit solution. They need to remaster more of their games. There's so many, like, loads of people are like, oh, I wish they'd remaster this. They don't do it. I mean, they do remaster some of
Well-
them, but they're very slow off the mark, are they not? Like, compared with all of these other companies that seem to be just remastering a game that's 3.5 years old, for for goodness sake. Oh my god. And people are like asking, oh, Nintendo, please could you remaster this game that's like 15 years old or whatever? I don't know.
Like I could see remasters of GameCube up. But anything older than the GameCube is so retro that I think the shine of it is the fact that it's retro. So like I don't want them to remaster Super Mario World from the Super Nintendo. I don't need a remaster of that because I want it to be what it was when I played it on the console.
Okay. Well, in that case, then I've got to ask you, what do you feel about the Link's Awakening remake? Have you seen that they did for the Switch?
I think it looks adorable.
You know what that was on originally? It was on the original Game Boy. It looked awful.
Well,
but
yeah,
it was very retro.
On a Game Boy.
Yeah, it was retro.
But it's not a Game. Now this might ruffle feathers, but remember, I'm not a 100% video game nerd yet. I don't consider a Game Boy a console. A Game Boy is a handheld.
A handheld console, yes.
Right. But like if you're remastering something that was on a Game Boy, you're making something that fit on this big of a screen look decent on a giant screen. Like a remaster of that makes sense to me because you're essentially changing something that was designed to fit on something this big to something that fits on this big and looks nice.
I feel like your goalposts are very complicated, Angry Angel, on this subject.
Well, what can I say? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, what do you think about the 3DS remaster of Ocarina of Time then?
I've never played 3DS.
All right, so the other thing I just wanted to mention as well, I found something out today that I thought was quite interesting. So Xbox recently had some level of direct as well, some sort of information went out there from Xbox, and apparently they are getting rid of a load of their exclusives. Now, there's 5 that's been announced. We don't know which 5 they are, but apparently they're saying that the age of the console exclusive is ending, and that it's just not how people sort of buy consoles anymore. So expect to see a lot of Xbox exclusives no longer being exclusives. What do you think about that, Angry Angel? Do you think that console exclusives are a good thing? Do you think they should keep them? Do you think they should get rid of them immediately? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't care.
You don't?
I think exclusives for consoles were fine when everybody sort of had a console, like you were loyal to one console. So like growing up, I only had Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
So Nintendo put Nintendo stuff on Nintendo stuff, and you couldn't play the Nintendo stuff on other consoles because they wanted to build that loyalty. But now, in an age where a game releases on PC and PlayStation and Xbox, we live in a world where, you know, eventually we're probably going to get the master console that does everything, and all the companies will merge together and there'll be no competition. But yeah, I don't think it matters anymore. I think it did matter when everybody had a console, but now game designers, you have to release it on multiple consoles or you're not going to make any money.
We already have Master Console PC. Yeah, I mean, I've never really been a fan of console exclusives, to be honest, because all it basically means is that I can't play a game. Like sometimes there'll be a game that comes out, I'm like, oh, that looks really good. I'd probably buy that. Oh, I can't get it. It's on a console that I don't own, and I'm not buying a console just to play an exclusive. I've never done it. You know why? Like, I'll buy a console because I like the console and I'll just play what's on it. The only person I have ever met that likes console exclusives is Tsukunami, and the only reason why he likes them is because he's got all of them, literally every single one of them. So if it comes out as it's an exclusive, he can just buy it and then be smug that he can get it and other people can't. And he literally told me that's the reason why he likes it. So I never really thought that console exclusives really served anything, at least for me. They were never anything other than a hindrance to me. I understand why they do it, but it's never worked on me. So I'm kind of glad for the idea of they're finally getting rid of these freaking console exclusives that have never been anything than a thorn in my side. So I think it's great news. I'm kind of happy to hear it. I hope that it goes industry wide, honestly.
Game review.
So today we've actually got a theme for the game review, which is kind of cool. The theme is love it or hate it. Can't decide whether you love it or hate it. Love-hate relationship, basically. That's the kind of topic of this, and that's because of the two games that we are reviewing today. So my review is going to be Starfox Adventures, which is a game that I have a love-hate relationship with, and Angry's is going to be Donkey Kong Country on the Wii, which you have a love-hate relationship, you say. So we're going to be talking about love-hate relationships. So let's bring up the thing. We're going to watch my review. It's available on my YouTube. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, amazing. Let's go. So, Starfox Adventures is a game that holds a lot of nostalgia for me. I came to terms a long time ago with the fact that in many ways it is an objectively bad game. But I don't think I realised until playing it through on stream with my critical eye how bad it was. The combat is boring and repetitive. The controls are mediocre at best and have always been overly sensitive on the control stick. The fact that there is only one action button has always been a sticking point for me, as it's even less than the usual 3 that you get in games like Zelda, and often even that isn't enough. The issue is partially solved by the fact that the menu is so intuitive and doesn't interrupt gameplay, and the fact that the game generally doesn't force you to quick change between lots of items or spells in a short period of time, even towards the end, helps a lot. The control scheme itself utilises the GameCube controls cleverly and feels natural and smooth, and the main story arc is both engaging and interesting. Unfortunately, the main story is peppered with conveniences for either plot or mechanical reasons, and weird plot beats that don't gel well with the story. For example, when Fox needs to be introduced to the Krazoa collection mechanic, instead of the game telling you that it's important to your main quest, it makes it feel like a side mission, and gives Fox a really shitty motivation. Oh, I suppose I should probably save her, then, oh wait, she's hot, I've really got to save her now. I think that's my main takeaway from this playthrough of the game. Fox is actually a bit of a dick. He never seems particularly happy to help, has money as his main goal, is sarcastic and rude, and only seems to want to save the girl once he realises she's actually hot. A story game with an unrelatable protagonist is fighting a losing battle, especially when none of the characters are developed very much at all. The less than stellar voice acting and editing of the voice lines also doesn't help on this point, and goes a very long way to nearly ruining the immersive and amazing world. Where the game really falls down, though, is the obvious parts where the Starfox intellectual property is wrenched in to the original Dinosaur Planet concept. It's quite jarring at the beginning when Crystal is captured and suddenly Fox is commandeered, but at the end it's downright awful, with a build-up to an amazing boss fight, a full boss room and setup, just for it to be snatched away at the last moment and replaced by a plot twist and boss battle that doesn't fit in with the theme or atmosphere of the game, and ultimately leaves a bitter taste in the mouth of every player who likes Starfox Adventures enough to get to this point. Ultimately, I think... this music, so bad. Ultimately, I think the reason people have fond memories for this game is because the world is immersive. The graphics, considering it's a GameCube title, are amazing, and the overarching story is clever and makes sense within the world. The puzzles are varied, and if you allow for conveniences, fit well into the world as a whole. There is also a decent effort at world building, and I feel the game takes you to each place a good number of times and spreads this out relatively evenly. However, this is a game that when you are playing, you can really feel the development hell that went on in the background. While the decision to slap the Starfox IP onto the game definitely meant that the game sold more copies, it made for a game that is both thematically confused and annoyed a lot of Starfox fans by not really being a Starfox game. It's a great game for nostalgia, but if you've never played it before, I'm unlikely to recommend playing it unless you are a massive Zelda fan like me and appreciate the linear but immersive story and mostly believable world of Dinosaur Planet provided, but by the most confused story I have ever enjoyed, Star Fox Adventures. What do you think?
I mean, it looks like a GameCube game.
It's a GameCube game. Funny that.
I mean, Star Fox does sound like a dick.
Yeah.
It sounds, it sounds like a sexist game from like 1998.
Yeah. I mean, it's from 2001, I think. But yeah, I mean, I think the thing that really kind of encapsulates it is that bit at the end where I said it's probably the most confused story I've ever enjoyed. Because the thing about it was like, if you like Zelda, you'll probably like it because it's kind of a Zelda clone. It's very it's very like a Zelda. You sort of you have an overworld. You go into dungeons. You complete the dungeon. You get a heart, and then you leave, and you've got more items that you can then do more stuff in the overworld. It's basically just a Zelda game, but it was originally envisioned as this game called Dinosaur Planet, and they only added the Star Fox IP to it really late on in development, and they kind of wrenched it in, and you can just kind of feel it as you're playing it, and it makes a lot of the story not really make a huge amount of sense, and there's lots of plot beats that are just there for convenience. The gameplay is fine, but the story kind of ruins it, and yeah, I just and it definitely doesn't help having a protagonist that isn't relatable in any way because he's just a knob. Like, he literally starts off with like, "Oh, we're running out of money. We need to fix the ship." And then General Pepper comes on the screen and says, "Oh, we've got a mission for you." And then for pretty much the entire first act of the game, he's like, "Oh, can we just get on with it, please? I want my money," kind of thing. You're like, that's not how you write a protagonist, man. And then, like I said, there's a part about towards the end of the first act where he sees this girl and she's like, "Oh, you need to help me," and he's like, "Oh," he's sort of rolling his eyes. "Here's another thing that I need to do, for God's sake." And then he goes to this place and he finds her, but she's incapacitated, and he needs to do like this big sort of quest in order to save her. But he's like, "Oh my God, she's beautiful," and then he's sold on the mission. And you're just like, dude, he's basically just thinking with his dick, and he doesn't make for a relatable protagonist in any way, shape, or form. And I think in a game that relies so heavily on its story, that is a massive misstep.
I agree.
Yeah. So it just and then at the end, there's this big boss, and you literally go into this boss arena, and he accosts you, and you're like, "Great, big boss time. This is going to be awesome." And then some voice from the void goes, "You need to give the protagonist the last of the things that he needs," and he just capitulates and gives it to him. And then it turns out that the big bad is the big bad from all of the other games, Andros, who somehow just came back alive. And the final boss, you're in the ship, and it's the same as all the other Andros fights, but you haven't hardly used the ship for the whole game. And oh my God, it's so bad because you're used to playing this like amazing high fantasy with a few little bits in the ship in between, and suddenly you're expected to just pilot the ship and beat a boss that you haven't been introduced to until like 2 minutes ago. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's just like, it takes a long time to get there, and then you get there and you're like, wow, that was really unsatisfying and crap. Like, it's a game that I have a lot of nostalgia for. I still play it occasionally. I think I love it. I think it's great, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone who hasn't played it before.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, that's why I have a love-hate relationship, because I love playing it. It's such a good game for me, but yeah, it's one of these, like, subjectively I love it, but objectively, like, if I put my objective hat on and review it, I'm like, I'm forced to say nothing else but this is shit.
Yeah, and I mean, I think games from that era, if you didn't play them when they came out, nowadays they would just feel very, very clunky.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I mean, there's a lot of games from that period that I think wouldn't. I think Wind Waker for a start that came out around the same time. That's still smooth.
I mean, I think if you played it, I mean, we've talked about this before. When you have nostalgia for a game because you played it when it came out, or when you were a kid, or when you were younger, when you play it when you're older, you remember how it works. But if you took somebody today and sat them down with Starfox Adventures, I think they would stop playing it.
Yeah, they'd get annoyed with it.
They've played for 5 minutes and be like, why am I playing this? I can go play something that's smoother and has better graphics and better story. So I think with games that old, I think those of us that love them, like I love the Metroid Prime games from the GameCube. It's because I played them at that time. They were amazing for the time that they came out in. Like you said in the review, like the graphics were really good for a GameCube game.
Yeah.
So I think, and I think I feel the same way about Skyrim as well, is that if you played that game when it came out, part of what it was the bugs, was wandering around, was doing. If you come to Skyrim today, having never played anything else, it feels too big and it feels clunky and the combat is weird. But if you played it when it came out, you know where everything is. You can describe the plants and the animals and the enemies around, and you can take anybody any place. So yeah, I mean, it objectively, a lot of those old games are crap. You know, like if we went back and we really picked out the good games, most of them were crap, but we loved them because that's what we had to play at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I first played, first properly played Skyrim in, I think it was 2019, which was quite a long time after it came out. And I've never really been a fan of the combat, to be honest. I don't think the combat is super duper fun in Skyrim, but I do think that the game, it holds up to a certain degree to today's standards. I do think it was fun, but I can understand why people think it's slow and confusing and just a bit too sparse. But it was a bit of a pioneer in a way in this kind of scope and sort of size that the whole thing was. So I can understand. It definitely set the trend and sort of set the bar. I actually said this in my Breath of the Wild review. I think that Skyrim kind of set the bar for open world games, like for the future from when it came out. And I don't feel that many open world games really set the bar until Breath of the Wild came out, and I feel like that kind of set the bar again, brought it back up again. So this is going to be now your review of Donkey Kong Country to the Wii. Is that right?
Yeah. So at this stage, I had already played through Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, and Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. So I had played through all of the properties that came out for Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I did not have access to Donkey Kong 64 or the Donkey Kong from the GameCube because reasons. So the next game that I had access to was this one. And at this point in the video, I've been trying to beat this level for 2 hours. And the controls so like when I was playing this on the Wii U, but it makes you can't use the Pro controller with it. You have to use the old Wii controls.
Oh, why is that?
With it, I'm not sure. But you have to go into the Wii. I think it's just because I bought it. No, it looks like it only released. You can play it on the Wii U, but it runs on the Wii system. So when you're on the Wii U, you have to go into the normal Wii menu to launch it.
Right.
So I had to use either the nunchuck and the Wiimote or just the Wiimote to the side. And I opted for the nunchuck and the Wiimote. And I just got to the point in this game where what they do is they give you the option to use something called a Super Kong.
Right.
And it just completes the level for you. So after 2 hours of trying to get to, and this is one of the last levels in the entire game. Like this is right before the final boss of the whole game. And I was just stuck. I had never used the Super Kong thing before. But it just takes over and it finishes the level for you.
That seems
Not
like an
if you
odd
take-
mechanic, doesn't it? That seems like the game developers just giving up.
I don't know how many times you can use it, and I say in the video that I'm not sure how many times it's made available to you. I didn't use it at all in my playthrough until this level. So
Right.
I never took advantage of it until I got here, because I had reached the point where like I wanted to be done with this game. It was around winter break. I played this through the end of last year, and I was just ready to take a break from Donkey Kong. And so I just got to the point where I was like, doesn't it just feel insulting at that point? I mean, yeah. So I mean, this is the love-hate relationship I have with Donkey Kong. Like I could, and I think this is where nostalgia comes in, because I could play through Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong, like all the Super Nintendo ones, I could play through all day because I played them as a kid. I know where everything is. I know all the puzzles. I know all the secrets. And so it's fun because I'm playing something that I've played many, many times before. I had never played Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii. I owned it, but I had never played it. And so even though this is a similar title and the graphics are way better and everything looks nicer, it was something I was playing for the first time, and so it was very, very, very frustrating. And so something I discovered is that I don't like platformers. If I'm being very honest with myself, I am not a fan of this kind of game. It's just just very frustrating. Whereas something like Bloodborne I'm fine with, where you get a little far and then you mess up and then you go a little further every time. This never felt like that. It never felt like it was like I wasn't ever making progress when I made a mistake.
Okay, I just want to sort of clarify on something that you said just now. So, you obviously you just confirmed how many of the Donkey Kong games you played on stream, and you were playing Donkey Kong on stream every week for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
So you're saying, but then you stipulate that you don't really like platformers. You obviously discovered that when you were playing this. So is that then? Would you say that you like those old games? You played them for so long on stream because you have nostalgia for them and you enjoyed them before, and that you don't enjoy them anymore?
No, I think I still enjoy those older games, but the current me, if you handed me a new platformer, so like I've tried different platformers. I tried Oddworld Soulstorm, and I tried, what was the other one that I tried? I have access to Hollow Knight, so I was going to try Hollow Knight. An Ori Will of the Wisps.
Oh, amazing.
And
I want to play that.
They just like, they look beautiful and I love watching other people play them. But for me, this is something where you have to have a level of patience that I just don't have.
That is so interesting, because that's one of the things that I always say about games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, is that you just need a level of patience for those games that I don't have. I've never really felt that way about a platformer, but I don't play platformers that often. I did play because Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a second in a series. I played the first in the series, Ori and the Blind Forest. I did that. I've played that twice now. I think that is such a fantastic game, and I was surprised because that is a game where you die a lot, a lot. Like the game expects you to die a lot. It's kind of the way that it's made. It expects you to die a lot. And that is the kind of thing that normally really like frustrates me, and yet I didn't find myself really getting very frustrated with that game. I really just enjoyed it. Like there were a couple of bits that got a little bit annoying, but generally speaking, I actually, there was a couple of times where I think I actually said on stream, I don't know why this isn't annoying me, but I'm really just enjoying this. Like after like the 100th death on one of the escape sequences, you know what I mean? But
well, and I think the difference for me is, like I said, with Bloodborne and Bloodborne is the only Souls-like game that I've played so far. But once I learned how it works, I learned how to make sure I was being rewarded for every run. So, like, I knew how to go and level up. I knew how to get new gear. I knew how to get stronger and stronger little by little. But with Donkey Kong, with this game in particular, I felt like I was just standing there banging my head against a brick wall. Like there was never, I didn't ever have the chance to learn from my mistakes because there was always a new mistake to make.
Yeah.
Whereas with the older Donkey Kongs, there was enough patterning, like the programming of the game, where like once you learned where one mistake was, you were less likely to make it the second time, and then you could move on to the next part. This game, I felt like it had so many opportunities for mistakes that it never gave you the chance to learn from them enough to make progress, especially in the tougher levels.
Well, I think because I think one of the things that would frustrate me in a game like this, especially in that that level that on the video we just saw you know, while you're going up and you got the lava sort of coming up, is it feels to me like you sort of gradually get further and further. And then what happens to me sometimes in platformers is all of a sudden I'll start struggling with a bit earlier in the level that I've been fine with earlier, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? I could do this 5 minutes ago, and now I'm struggling with this earlier bit, and it feels like you have to sort of learn again that little bit. It can be incredibly frustrating because you've gone all the way back, but it feels to me like, keep in mind that I've never played any of these sort of Soulsy games, where at least whenever you're playing Souls, like every time you die, you're always learning sort of how to not die next time. And I don't think I've ever really seen anyone play those games that's like had that moment of regression where you're like, wait, a minute ago I could do this. I've never seen anyone do that on Dark Souls.
So I've been watching a lot of challenge runners that do it, like they try to complete it deathless or hitless. And what you'll find it's a psychological occurrence. What you'll find sometimes is that regression happens when you play too long and you psych yourself out.
Yeah.
So I've seen that happen with challenge runners because I don't remember the exact psychological term for it, but it happens to my students when they take exams, but it's in reverse. So like they'll do fine, they can do everything they need to do, but because you call it an exam, their brain shuts off. It's a challenge runner can make it so far, but if they make a mistake, their brain shuts off. So when they start over again, their brain is like, look, I can't do this. I can't do this. And you have to have a way to like overcome that, because once you've banged your head against a wall for so long, eventually your head is going to go, stop it. Stop it. You need to take a break. Like sleep. Like there were so many Donkey Kong levels where I just stopped playing it, and then I came back the next day and I did it in the first try.
Yeah.
Because at some point your subconscious takes over and says, you're done for today.
Yeah.
We're done with this. You need to stop doing it. And that's where that comes from. It's the idea that your brain just can't handle any more of it.
Yeah, you definitely do get that sometimes with games, don't you? Where you just you're a bit tired and you're like, I'm just stuck in at the moment. I'll come back another day, and then it's fine. When you do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to sleep on things as well. Like I'm sure that muscle memory is something that is practiced when you sleep. You know, because you do sort of a lot of your learning, like you don't learn it properly until you've slept on it, because your brain like sorts things out, doesn't it? And like things that you've learned through the day. So there's literally been like studies and stuff where someone's tried to learn something and then they get a test on it before they sleep and after they sleep, and they always score better, or they usually score better after they've slept, because you literally learn when you sleep.
Well, and you have to listen, like streaming and learning and stuff is like anything else. You can't lift weights all day. At some point, you have to give yourself time for recovery.
Yeah.
And I think with streaming, sometimes I think we forget that we're exercising our brains.
Absolutely.
And so when people go for 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, you'll see them mixing up what they're doing, because when you change tasks, your brain clicks into something new, like it's a new beginning.
Resets, yeah.
So so people who stream longer tend to have like activities. Like when you stream long, you do things like words on stream.
Yeah.
Stuff like that breaks the flow, so your brain has a chance to go, okay. But yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with these games. The husband bought me a Nintendo 64 refurbished with Donkey Kong 64 and Ocarina of Time. And so I'm going to play it on the original console on stream, and we'll see. We'll see how everything looks and how everything plays. But I'm pretty excited to give it a go.
Awesome.
Pizza Wars.
So this is a sort of like a new section. It's basically we always do something fun at the end, and now we're doing a new thing called Pizza Wars. So from the perspective of us today, it's basically just a pizza tier list, pizza topping tier list. But the hook with this, the thing that's slightly different with this is, and this is a bit of an announcement, where basically obviously this is February's episode of Chattisfying. We're not going to do an episode in March because my wife is having a baby. But then in April, we're going to start bringing back guests, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we haven't really had any guests in season 3 yet at all. We had Tsukunami and Polly Misfit on the Christmas special as hosts, but we haven't really had a guest. So we're going to start bringing back guests. And when we bring back the guests are also going to fill this out. Exactly the same tier list. And then at the end of season 3, once everyone's had their say, we're going to let you guys know what the winners are and the losers are, what all of the guests think all together, and we're going to have one master tier list. The Chattisfying, the Chattisfied certified, definitely correct tier list at the end of it that all of the guests have contributed to. So I'm not gonna put my 2 cents into this one really. I might give a little bit, but this is gonna be Angry Angel's turn to do the tier list. So
Okay.
just straight off the bat, is there anything on there that immediately just jumps out to you as something that has to go at the top or the bottom?
I love ham on pizza.
Which is Canadian bacon, right?
So
oh no, ham is here. There you go. So that goes in the S tier, yeah?
Yes, for me. All the weird sauces are going to go in the bin. So Alfredo sauce, barbecue sauce, buffalo sauce. Oh God, feta, put that shit in the bin. What is this? Garlic parm? What the hell does that mean? Put that in the bin. What?
Garlic parm is a cheese, isn't it?
That looks like a sauce to me.
I'm guessing it's a cheesy sauce, yeah.
Ugh, get rid of it. Where's what
marinara
else
sauce goes in the bin?
No. Marinara sauce is normal. That's pizza sauce.
Oh, okay.
And anything in the bottom row that's a weird sauce. Ranch. No. Ranch is in the bin.
Okay. What was the other thing that you said? Feta needs to go in the bin. There we go. That's cheese. Yeah.
Feta. Yeah. Because pizza has pizza sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza sauce is good shit, to be fair.
It's fine. Angry Angel, no, stop. Wait. Okay, so it's not delivery must be it's okay, but I wouldn't always get it.
Yeah, so this is like stuff that you really like, stuff that you're met on, something that you would eat but wouldn't necessarily order.
I wish that there was a category for I would never have it.
Oh, that's
because
the bin tier.
Because I can't eat it.
Yeah.
So like I would never have jalapenos. So I don't know if they're good or bad. I just
they have to go in the bin then.
Okay, then jalapeno peppers can go in the bin. Oh, I know what's good to put in It's Not Delivery is meatballs on pizza. That's weird.
Yeah, I agree actually. I like meatballs, but meatballs on pizza is weird.
It's weird. So, but it's not gross. Like if that was what was on offer, I would eat it. But I wouldn't order it on purpose for myself. Pepperoni goes in decent stuff.
Okay.
Mostly because I can't eat a lot of the processed meats type stuff. So like pepperoni, God, what do you call it? It's like Hillshire Farm stuff that you get around Christmas time, where it's like a big log of beef. Salami is another good example of that, where there's just a lot of spices in the meat, and I just can't.
So that goes in decent stuff as well. Salami.
Wait, salami is on here? Oh my God. No, salami doesn't go on pizza. Put that in the bin too.
Oh wow. Okay.
No being gross. Pineapple is better ingredients. So it's not S tier, but it's close.
Okay. So you're a yes you're a yes to pineapple on pizza then?
Yes, but it's only in certain situations do I have pineapple. So I'll have a Hawaiian pizza, so it's ham and pineapple, and I'll have pepperoni and pineapple, or bacon and pineapple. Those are or Canadian bacon.
Canadian. What is Canadian bacon? Because I thought Canadian bacon was just ham.
It's ham with a crust. So Canadian bacon is circle ham with like it has a rind on it like salami does.
Oh, okay. Okay. So where does Canadian bacon go for you then?
Put Canadian bacon up in the top tier.
Already.
It's essentially ham.
Okay. Amazing.
Are there mushrooms on here? Mushrooms go in better ingredients.
Really? Wow.
Because mushrooms go good with anything.
Okay.
Let's see. I can't see them on the screen, so I've got them up on a tab and I haven't kept track of it. Oh, corn. Okay, so we need to have a conversation about corn, everybody. We need to have a conversation about corn. It's got the juice. See, the thing is, I really like corn. It belongs on a cob, not on pizza.
I don't agree.
And I know that. I know you don't agree, because in Europe and in the UK, it's a normal pizza topping. Like that's a pizza topping you've probably had since you were a kid. It was always on offer. It was something that you selected from a kid. For me, and I've lived all over the United States. I have never seen corn offered as a pizza topping for delivery.
Right.
Anywhere. For me, corn is a side dish for like a dinner. So when you're having like like a chicken, corn, and rice, like it's the vegetable of the trio.
Right.
So please know that me saying that corn is not a typical pizza topping, that's the American in me, because I've just never. Now maybe it's good, but I already have these preconceived notions of where corn goes and how it tastes.
So it goes in the bin then?
I see, here is the thing where like, I wish there was a category for I've never tried it, because I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to put it in the bin.
The thing is though, is that if it's in the bin, it just gets no points, right, on a little numbering system. But if it goes in, I've never tried it, it would also get no points. So it doesn't really matter whether it goes in the bin or not.
Why don't I put it in it's not delivery? Because I think like it's the same thing as meatballs, where if it was there, I would probably try it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't order it for myself.
Okay, that is absolutely fair. Just for the record, by the way, sorry, I didn't really mention this, but with the way that we're numbering, because we're going to obviously make a big tier list at the end. 0. This is 0 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're just going to tot up the points at the end. Yeah. Sorry, go
on. So let's see. Anchovies, I think I'm also gonna put in it's not delivery, because I've never had anchovies on pizza.
It's disgusting.
But I think I would try it once.
Yeah, I
I
tried
don't
it once.
think-
I wish I hadn't.
I don't feel like it's fair for me to put it in the bin because I've never tried it. So I think
I can't
I
stand
think
anchovies on
it's
pizza. It's like all of a sudden, like I had anchovies once accidentally on a pizza. It was like a pizza leftover. Because I used to work at Papa John's, but I didn't realize it had anchovies on it. And all of a sudden, all I could taste was just pure salt. I thought, what the hell is this? And I looked at it. I was like, disgusting. They're just really salty. Like they don't really taste of anything, just salt. If you really like salt, you might like anchovies.
artichoke is in the bin. That's weird.
I agree.
Y'all are being weird. Don't put artichokes on pizza. That's weird. Pizza is for fun times. Artichoke is for vegetables, please. Like artichoke is like Brussels sprouts. Like artichoke is the thing you eat because someone told you had to eat it. Why
Right.
would you put it on your pizza?
Yeah, like Brussels sprouts, right?
Oh, I love Brussels sprouts.
Oh, fair enough.
So I had never had Brussels sprouts until I traveled to London
Right.
in 2015, and we stayed in a hotel near the airport because I was too paranoid about like not making our flight.
Right.
And we went over Christmas because that's when we can afford to travel and that's when we have a winter break. And the hotel served a lovely Christmas dinner buffet that had Brussels sprouts in it, and they were so good.
Interesting.
I don't know how they made them, but oh my god, they were amazing.
Fair enough. I've never enjoyed a Brussels sprout, but there we go.
Bacon goes with decent stuff.
Okay. I was bacon.
Because again, for me, and this is just what I'm able to eat. I like bacon better with breakfast foods than I do on pizza.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's sometimes a bit greasy sometimes, isn't it, on pizza, bacon?
Yes. Yeah. I think bacon needs to be its own thing, and when it's on pizza, I feel like it's too much for that. Let's see. Banana peppers. Are banana peppers spicy?
I don't even know what banana peppers are. We
Or
can't get them on pizza.
Are they like a bell pepper?
Well,
Does
bell
anybody
peppers
know?
are here as well, so I'm guessing they're not that similar.
Well, I mean, they're different sized. I know a banana pepper is like the size of a jalapeno.
Okay.
So the question is, like a bell pepper is like a bell pepper. A banana pepper is like a little thin thing.
Okay.
The question is, they're slightly spicy, somewhere between a jalapeno and a green pepper. Okay, so I probably wouldn't. We'd have to put that in the bin.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't be able to do that. Ooh, beef is hot and ready. Put that crumbled up hamburger on my pizza. I love it. Let's go. Beef.
Shake hands with
Beef. Bell peppers go in decent stuff.
Yeah. No beef.
Cheese.
Very cool.
No beef. No beef. Let's see. What am I up to next? Cheese only.
It's just a margarita pizza, cheese and tomato.
I love a good cheese pizza.
If you're in the right mood for a cheese and tomato pizza, they just hit so perfectly, don't they?
They hit perfect because if I just want pizza and I don't want it to be fancy, I'm rolling through Little Caesars and I'm picking up a $5.99 hot and ready cheese pizza.
Yeah.
Cheese pizza has never cheated on me. It's always been there for me. So I think I'm gonna put a cheese only pizza in the better ingredients.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Ooh, chicken. Oh, I forgot about chicken on pizza. Ooh, that's very good. Let's put that one in the better ingredients as well.
Interesting.
Because it's not something that I would immediately think of as like a favorite topping, but I've had it on pizza before and it's so good, especially if you pair it with tomatoes as a topping and something green. So like a green pepper or an onion or something like that. Chicken is a very versatile pizza topping, so we'll put that where I say.
I'm not going to
better
weigh in on
ingredients.
many of these, but I have to say that out of all of these toppings, my absolute 10 out of 10 favorite is chicken. Chicken just
Yep.
improves every pizza it touches. I think it's amazing. And funny enough,
Yep.
I think the thing that complements chicken the best is actually sweet corn. Sweet corn and chicken, amazing together on a pizza.
See, and I literally just said, like, if I had like fried chicken, it would be fried chicken, a little pile of sweet corn, and like rice or mashed potatoes or a roll or something. Like for me, I'm used to that combo being like a meat, like a dinner, like a segmented meat, starch, vegetable dinner. So that's why I didn't put corn in the bin, is because I bet I would like it if I tried it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, corn goes really, really well with chicken.
Extra cheese? No. I would put extra cheese in It's Not Delivery.
The problem with extra cheese is that you don't really get much for the extra money that you pay for it. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
like it's normally the same price as any other topping, isn't it?
if you're gonna do extra cheese, you got to do stuffed crust.
Right.
So if I'm looking for extra cheese in my pizza experience, I'm more likely to have it in the crust.
Right. I see what you mean.
Yep. I like a stuffed crust. Putting more cheese on the pizza proper doesn't, like, don't get extra cheese, get like a special cheese blend. So instead of the traditional cheese blend, get like a provolone mozzarella parmesan blend, so that you're getting a more intense flavor from your cheese instead of just throwing extra cheese onto it.
I completely agree. And also, like, literally, like, take it from someone who's worked for a pizza place for like five years. Like, when you ask for an extra topping, they obviously put the extra topping on. But if you ask for extra cheese, they just put like a little extra sprinkle. It's like nothing. It's not worth the money that you were paying for it, and it doesn't really change the flavor of the pizza. I don't get extra cheese at all. I don't get it.
Bats, you've just described a KFC, what do they call them? Fantastic bowls, famous bowls. Your potatoes and meat and corn in a pie is a Kentucky Fried Chicken famous bowl.
There you go.
That's what that is. Green olives. Are there black olives?
The black olives are on here.
Green olives that's not where green olives go, is on a pizza.
I've never seen green olives on a pizza.
I've never ever seen green olives on a pizza. So put that in the bin. That's weird.
Yeah.
And then black olives I'll put in decent stuff.
Fair enough.
Like if
green olives go in a martini. Fair enough.
But it's, yeah, black olives I find on pizza don't have a lot of flavor that you're adding. If you're adding black olives to a pizza, you're looking to get more, I don't know, like just vegetables. Like you're just looking to get some fiber with your grease and cheese, I guess. So if it's added, I won't say no to it. And sometimes even I'll add it with the right combination of things. So it goes above the It's Not Delivery, but it's not going to get any higher than decent stuff.
Oh, I can't stand olives. Ugh.
Onions, better ingredients. I have a favorite combo, and it's like a cheeseburger pizza. So it's beef and mushrooms and onions, with a stuffed crust. And if you put those flavors together, and it's like a hearty meal. It reminds me of like it's not a stew, but it's a meal on a pizza. Yeah, and it smells so good. It smells the smell is so good.
Absolutely.
Green peppers. So green peppers on pizza, there's a problem because a green pepper is mostly water. It's kind of like if you
I thought green pepper was a bell pepper.
Well, it is a bell pepper, but right. when you cook a bell pepper, it just kind of shrivels up.
Yeah.
Because it's primarily water content.
Right.
So when you put green peppers on pizza, if you don't cook them first, they shrivel up and you end up with this like weird piece of grass on your pizza, and it's a little bit wet. So when I worked at a pizza joint when I was in high school, I worked at the corner store and we made pizzas, and instead of putting the green pepper strips on the pizza, we would cut them into little cubes. We would dice them, and when you dice them, it gets rid of a little bit of the water content, and if you sprinkle them around the pizza more spread out, they tend to retain their shape better.
Right.
And along with that, the shape. So I think green peppers I would put in it's not delivery.
Right.
Because so many restaurants just put the full little green pepper stick on there, and that's weird.
Fair enough.
Marinara is all purpose. You can spice it up or make it plain, but I think marinara needs to go in the hot and ready because it's on every pizza.
I think, yeah, I think that the thing that I like about the sort of the pizza sauce is that's the one thing that really sort of stands out depending on which pizza joint you go to.
Yep.
Because the pizza sauce is always slightly different because it's always got slightly different like herbs and spices and stuff inside. So I mean, quite often you'll go to pizza. You might not notice. You might not know. You'll be like, "Oh, that pizza's really good," and most of the time it's because of the pizza sauce.
Yeah, during the pandemic, I perfected a pizza dough and I made my own pizza sauce. So I had, yeah. So I during the pandemic, y'all were wasting time on sourdough bread while I was over here making homemade pizzas on like a pizza screen like you'd use in an actual pizza restaurant.
Oh my god!
And I've got a pizza peel, and you just put it in the bottom rack for a while, and then the top rack to crisp the top, and it would come out. Oh my god! Like if you want a homemade pizza, you got to come over. Right now I'm working on my homemade deep dish, not a deep dish, like a pan pizza. So I'm trying to figure out how much dough to put in where when it puffs up, it's not like too much.
Yeah.
And I'm working on what kind of seasoning should I put in the oil that I brush on the pan. So I'm working on creating my own recipe for that right now. So it's
Perfecting pizza.
Yeah.
Love that.
Where did I leave off? Extra cheese, feta, garlic, pomegranate. Okay, green peppers. Then marinara. There we are. I put. So I should be on what? Black olives.
We've done black olive, so we're now on pastrami. Whatever the fuck that is. Excuse my language.
Is that supposed to be pastrami?
Yeah, I've never even. I've heard of it.
It doesn't even. I think that's just not spelled correctly. Let me see if pastrami is a real thing. No, it's supposed to be pastrami.
Oh, okay.
So it should be pastrami, and that is a sandwich meat.
Oh, okay.
That like a pastrami on rye is a very famous sandwich here in the States. It does not belong on pizza.
Okay.
Get it out of here.
In the bin.
No.
Okay, no worries.
In the bin. So here's my question. I'm not sure what they mean by pork. So we've talked about ham and Canadian bacon and bacon
and sausages on there as well.
And sausages on here as well, which I understand the distinction. So when they say pork,
I don't know either.
What's left that we haven't covered in the other toppings?
I mean, I suppose you could just have like little cutlets of just the normal part of pork, like what you have for your Sunday roast. But I've never seen anyone ever put that on pizza, so I'm a bit confused.
And Bats, pastrami is great, but not on pizza. Yeah. Like a pastrami sandwich is very good.
I've never had pastrami in my life.
I'm not saying pastrami is bad. I'm saying I wouldn't have it on a pizza.
That is fair.
That's what we're saying here. Sausage is top tier for me. I love sausage on a pizza. It's got this just enough spice to make it taste good, but it doesn't go as far as a pepperoni. And it doesn't mess with my tum-tums. So sausage can go in the hot and ready.
Nice.
Yep.
So what we're gonna do with pork? Should we just put it in the bin because we don't really know what to do with it?
Yeah, I don't know what that is because
fair.
the only thing I can think that it might be are like pork cracklins, so
Oh God, no.
like pork rinds, or
Yeah, that's
because you can
gross.
get, and that's no, I'm not having pig skin on my pizza. No. Scallions. The fuck is a
I don't know
scallion?
what a scallion is. I
I
never
think
even heard of a scallion.
I know what a scallion is. A scallion is like a leek where like you eat the green part. So it's like if you cut the green part, it's those little tiny little.
Oh, hold on. I've just said what is a scallion, and it's a spring onion is another word for it.
I think they also call it a green onion.
Yeah. I actually
Um,
like spring onions. There you go.
so I'll put this one in. It's not delivery. I think I would try it, but I think I would put spinach there too. In that, if you're putting full leafy greens on my pizza, we have a problem.
Mm,
I
yeah.
just I don't want like a leaf of spinach on my pizza. I don't want it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I would have thought until not that long ago I would have thought that spinach was a really weird thing to put on a pizza. But one of the oven pizzas that you can that I get is like a vegetarian pizza, and it's got like bell peppers, onions. It's got spinach on it. It's actually quite good.
I've had spinach on pizza before, but they like ripped it up so it came in like smaller pieces. Like they chopped the spinach instead of like putting the full leaves of, because that looks like, that picture of the spinach looks like they opened a can of boiled spinach
Mm.
and gooped it on the top of the pizza. Like there's a better way to do that, everybody. Steak on pizza, that's like, why? I don't understand. Like if you're already paying for steak, just have a steak. Like have steak and mushrooms and in a mushroom sauce with like those crispy onions they give you at like a steakhouse. Just like, no. But I'll put that one in. It's not delivery because if it's there, I would eat it.
Oh my God, I can tell you, like I've had a steak pizza and it's really good.
Well, yeah, because it's
Yeah, of
steak.
course it's good. It's amazing.
it's it's steak. But I wouldn't expect steak on a pizza.
Mm.
And here in the States, you can't pick steak to put on your pizza unless you go to like a fancy pizza place, maybe. But if you're just ordering out Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Hut, they're not putting steak on the pizza.
Yeah, I mean the problem with steak on a pizza, the reason why, because I do like it, I think it's really tasty, but it's always really expensive. It's always more expensive than a normal topping, and it doesn't
Because you're
really
buying a steak.
exactly. It doesn't really add more than any other topping you could get, so I don't normally bother with it. But it is nice.
And then tomatoes are last. Tomatoes are a topping that I like to add if I want to offset the darkness or deepness of another flavor. So tomatoes as a topping bring us like a quick burst of brightness into the
Yeah, like a
flavor
lightness,
of a
doesn't it?
pizza. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not sweet, but I don't know how to explain it, but like tomatoes are best paired with the spicy meats. So pepperoni, bacon and tomato is really good. And they even go really good with the chicken, even though the chicken isn't usually super spiced. And yeah, so if I have tomatoes on a pizza, I don't have them very often, but if I do, it's with the stuff in the decent stuff tier, most often. So I'm going to put the tomatoes in the decent stuff tier because it is a topping I would choose. Not often, but it is something that I enjoy.
Amazing.
Yep.
Fantastic. And that's it then. That's Angry Angels tier list. And then what we'll do is in April's episode, we'll have whoever our guest is fill this out again, and then yeah, we'll keep doing it for each of our guests for all of season 3, and at the end of season 3, we'll let you know the result of like everyone's collective tier list. It's a pretty balanced list. It's a very interestingly balanced list. There's definitely things in there that I don't agree with. I mean I'm not going to give away too much because I think at some point I probably will do this. But I think I agree with you on most of the sauces, but barbecue sauce would go in the S tier for me. Barbecue sauce is just heavenly. Like barbecue sauce, especially with chicken, which I already said earlier, I really like. Absolutely heavenly. But
Yeah, for me, for some of these, it's not because I don't like the topping. It's just if I eat it, there are consequences that
that's an interesting way of putting it.
like I'm not willing to live with. So I love barbecue sauce for like dipping.
Mm.
Like I'll dip like chicken tenders or popcorn chicken and stuff in a barbecue sauce, but to have that much barbecue sauce on the pizza, like there would be consequences.
Well, there's
So
one that I like that Papa John's do particularly because they have one. I think it's called the classic barbecue or chicken barbecue, but it's actually got a tomato base. And then they put the chicken and the other bits on top. I think it includes onions, and then they sprinkle the barbecue sauce on top, and it's really good because then you don't have to deal with like the barbecue base, and you can ask them to do because it's done by the person at the end, so you can ask them just to do a light one. It's good. I reckon you'd probably be alright with that if you like barbecue sauce. Probably.
Bats, I don't have any kind of like health condition. It's that growing up I wasn't exposed to a lot of spicy foods. And so like it's either my palate can't take it, so like when I eat it, it's too spicy for my palate. Or just my stomach isn't used to processing it.
And then it burns on the
So
way out.
Yeah, well, no, but
Oh.
it's just know that when you have kids and you're bringing up kids, the more foods you can expose them to when they're young, it makes things easier later on for them. They can have a wider experience with food later. So I can do like Thai food, Indian food, but I have to be very clear on the phone. No spicy, 0 stars. Just give me the flavor. So yeah, it's not a health condition. It's just I came to spice too late in life to be able to fully enjoy it.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right. Well, there we go. That is Angry Angel's tier list. Thank you very much for that. That's brilliant. I love it. All right, fantastic. Well, we'll call that a wrap for season 3, episode 5. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thank you ever so much, Angry Angel, for joining me. It was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. And yeah, just a reminder, there will not be an episode of Chattisfying in March, but when we come back in April, we will have a guest. And we already know who the guest is going to be, but we're gonna keep it quiet until it's time to announce it. So if you want to know before we actually go live, then join the Discord. There is my Discord link. Join the Discord. If you're watching it after the fact on YouTube, it will be in the description. Join the Discord. There's a Chattisfying area on there, and then you can go into the rules and choose to get updates on Chattisfying if you want them. And then you get updates on when we're going live, when we find out when the next episode's going to be, and also when it goes up on YouTube. So those are the 3 little messages that you'll get from us every month, apart from March. But I think we'll call that a day. And unless you've got any final thoughts before we pop off?
Nope. The dogs are ready to go outside, and I'm ready to bid everybody a good evening.
Well, in that case, then thanks again for watching. Until next time, bye for now.
Chattisfying.